I'm really excited today to be embarking on something new. There are so many topics that I would really like to talk about on my channel and share with you, but making more long-form videos is just a task that is too hard to fit around everything else right now. So I decided to try something new. In this video, I'm being joined by Therman Trotman from SharePoint Helpdesk, who is another consultant who looks very much at Microsoft 365 in the way that I do, thinking about the business value of the technology and connecting that business value with users like you. So what we're going to do in this first of what may be a series of episodes potentially is talk through a number of topics and look at different things that are going on in the world of Microsoft 365 and the world of business to bring you some updates on how you can best connect with this technology to gain advantage for your business, for your team members, and for your customers. I hope you enjoy. Okay, so let's chat about some things Microsoft 365 and Microsoft. There's a lot going on right now. You know, I wanted to do this chatting with you, Therman, because we both bring the perspective of business value to these issues. And I think that's so important. You know, there's a lot of this that's technical, but there's a lot of these issues that are just people trying to run businesses, trying to do their job, trying to work out how the heck does all this stuff work. And they don't want the technical answer. They want the, how does this add value to what I'm doing right now? How does this add to the bottom line for my business? And that's such an important discussion to have, particularly with all the changes that are going on right now.
Yeah, agreed. Definitely. So extremely clear. I want to piggyback on that and say that if you are running a business and all of these things are coming out, if you feel overwhelmed, just imagine or think about the people who are actually in the world of tech, because I'm one of them. Nick is obviously one of them. It's still overwhelming for us. So if you feel overwhelmed, it's fine. You know what I'm saying? Or just relax. What we'll do is like pull everything, you know, get the cream of the crop and speak to you in a way that'll show you what could be useful for your business. You know what I mean? Definitely got to point that out if you feel overwhelmed.
Yeah, I think that's so important. And people, you know, the other day I made a post on LinkedIn about the Sunday scaries of feeling overwhelmed. And I think there can be a lot that's going on that's overwhelming right now. And technology can be part of it. Like you feel like there's this special sauce that everyone else has got that you don't have. That can be very stressful, and it'd be very stressful to find out about it. So let's break this down. Let's make this easy for people. Let's talk about why you should be doing this in your business, not just because it's cool from a technology point of view, but because it's actually going to help you in your day-to-day. And the big one this week, the one that probably everyone's going to be talking about, although maybe not talking about for the right reasons, but we'll get onto that, is November 1st, as we're recording this. That's tomorrow. By the time people are seeing this, it'll be out, but Microsoft 365 Copilot is going to be with us. What's your takeaway on the whole Microsoft 365 Copilot thing, Therman?
Well, yeah, my general views around it is that it's positive. It's a positive thing. You know what I mean? Like, we should look forward to it. But with any new technology, I'm always like, you know, let the dust settle first. You know what I mean? Let me see how a lot of people are using it first. Let me see how I could take it, understand it, and pass it off to the business. But being that November 1st is tomorrow, I know it's going to be, like you said, a lot of people are going to be talking about it, but I'll be paying attention to what they're talking about. Are they saying that it sucks? Are they saying that this is great? There's going to be some people that are jumping out the window and immediately saying, hey, this thing is going to change my life, which, you know, everybody relax. We'll get there. So my general feelings around it is that I'm positive. I'm excited about it, but I just, you know, I need to get my hands on it to really give you a good answer as to what I think about it.
Yeah, $30 a month. That's going to be scary to some people.
I don't think it should be.
I agree. And, you know, my take on this, I made a video about this on YouTube a few months ago when the price was first announced, and talked about, you know, think of the percentage of the average knowledge worker's salary that $30 a month is going to represent. You know, if someone is going to be more productive because of Copilot, but even if they're just going to feel better in doing their job, if they're going to feel more supported, if they're going to feel less overwhelmed, if they're going to be doing a little bit extra for you as an employer versus looking at the job ads on the weekends, that's worth $30 in my opinion.
I agree. So just so I'm clear, it's $30 per user.
$30 per user per month, yeah.
Yeah, Microsoft about to make a killing. But at the same time, I think that maybe you don't roll out the $30 per to every single employee, because maybe every employee might not be using it. But the folks who are coming to you and saying, listen, this thing is coming out, I can't wait to get my hands on it. Or maybe you're a leader that's like, I want my team to get on it, and you get yourself sped up and then you train your team on it and all that. It's well worth it, $30. You spend $30 on foolishness all the time. Yeah. You can't spend $30 a month to increase, productivity of your business. Why not? Like, I don't think the $30 is something to worry about.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I think that businesses will be buying it. I don't think I work with a lot of smaller businesses. I don't think a lot of smaller businesses are going to be looking at this and saying this makes monetary sense, but I think it's something to keep talking about, keep showing the value of it, and keep showing the value of it to people. I think we've forgotten about this a little bit in a lot of these like metrics. We want to score things. We want to get an immediate return. But what we've seen over the last few years is that workers have a lot of capability to slow things down, to really put wrenches in the works for businesses if businesses aren't looking after their workers. And I think this issue of, humans 50 years ago weren't connected to devices all the time. They weren't getting 1,000 emails a day. That wasn't happening to people. This is like an experiment that we're doing on everyone's brains right now. And the more that we can do to support them, in my opinion, the better. And that's how I come to this.
Yeah. I think that there's going to be some businesses that can make a case to say an extra $30 a month, not doing it. Fine. But you should still find out what's possible with this type of technology. So maybe get a free version of ChatGPT. Don't put your proprietary information in there, but just see what's capable. And then when you can see what you're doing with ChatGPT, then you can say to yourself, oh, well, I can do more, and I can do it with my business information, my proprietary information. So it's fine. If you don't want to jump out the window, spend that $30, cool. At least see what the technology is about and then see how you could apply it to your business.
Oh, I totally agree with that. Now, the one wrench in the works for certainly a lot of the people I work with on day one is this isn't going to be available to small businesses on November 1st. November 1st is general availability, but it's not really generally available, certainly to a lot of the people that I work with. Those criteria on day one is going to be you need to buy 300 seats.
I didn't know that.
And you need to have an enterprise agreement or some other means of buying it. So we're talking about bigger enterprises on day one. If you're a small business owner and you're thinking, I'm just going to go out and buy one license to try, November 1st, certainly you're going to be out of luck. And as it stands, we don't know when this is going to filter down so that smaller business owners can buy it.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Damn.
Yeah, it's been a long wait. I mean, in March, I declared Microsoft had won work when they announced this. I still think that they've won work with this, but there's going to be a lot of people, and there have been a lot of people who are a bit concerned about that timeline. But as you say, use ChatGPT, use Bing Chat Enterprise. You've got protection for your business data built into Bing Chat Enterprise. You've got that with most Microsoft 365 licenses. I forget now, it's not with the business basic, right? But if you've got standard or premium, you get it. And if you've got E3 or E5, then you get it. There's a few other exclusions as well, I think. But that's something that you can play with, and you can be sure that if you put the contents of an email in there or the contents of a document in there, Microsoft isn't going to do anything with that data. So in my opinion, if you want somewhere to play around with AI, then don't go for the latest trendy startup app that you've just heard of that uses AI. use something like Bing Chat Enterprise, and at least you know your data isn't going anywhere.
Right. Damn. And then, yeah, I think you just reminded me. I think I knew that already, but you just reminded me that you got to go with at least 300.
Yeah.
300 seats.
So you're not going to be buying 300 seats tomorrow, right, Therman?
No.
Yeah, I don't have a spare $100,000 either, so I won't be doing that. You know, but
Yeah.
if people want to come along, you know, if they want to like subscribe to the channel, if they want to follow us on LinkedIn, that kind of thing, you know, give us your support, like $100,000 to try stuff out. Yeah, why not? You know, like
Yeah.
that's where I like to get to. You know, like why not? Yeah, I just bought $100,000 of software to show off to you guys. That'd be a nice place to get to. That'd be like the Mr. Beast of IT videos, you know.
Yeah, definitely. It's all good though. I think once I get my hands on it, then I get to see what's going on, and I do have an idea of what you can do. I'm excited about those types of things. This is one of them times I wish I was at an organization that was, you know, big and had was getting ready to go buy them licenses so I could try it out and show them. But just that personal assistant with your data, that gets me excited, man. If that thing works properly, it's like right up my alley. I want to be able to be like, I'm getting ready to have a meeting with Nick. Tell me all of the things that I need to know. Summarize from the last month of our communication. Summarize what we've been talking about. Give me some bullet points and make sure that I got that to go to this meeting with him. I want to make sure I bring something to the table. Whatever. Like, what should I be thinking about? What should I be talking about? And then you just, you know, look through my data and spit that out to me.
Yeah,
I love that.
I think that's fantastic. And you know, the thing with all of this is, you're completely right. You can go and try this in ChatGPT right now, because the AI part of what Microsoft is bringing us isn't something revolutionary. What's revolutionary is they've come up with a way of looking through all that data that you've got in Microsoft 365 and giving that stuff to the AI. If you try to do that with ChatGPT, you know, like, you want to go through all your emails with me, by the time you've found all those emails and you've copied and pasted them into ChatGPT, you might as well just done it yourself. You know, you might as well just read the emails. You're not saving that much time. But with the idea of, I want to look through the last 30 days of emails that I've got with Nick or I've got with Therman, and then it just throws that stuff to the AI as context. That is what is revolutionary in Microsoft 365 Copilot, and I think that's what we should all be excited about.
Yeah, definitely. So once it gets rocking and rolling, I'm in.
Yeah,
I just,
you know,
I need that.
That's going to be your like project management websites on steroids. You know, like no one's going to be looking at the website. They're just going to be asking. They're just going to be asking Microsoft 365 chat or something like that to find out about stuff. So,
yeah, AI is crazy.
So thinking about the whole AI thing, obviously we're getting Microsoft 365 Copilot. We know what that includes. But we also know there are these other Copilots that are coming. This kind of Copilot experience is coming to everything Microsoft. And one of the places that I think is going to be really interesting to you is it's coming to SharePoint. So what is your view, Mr. SharePoint, on SharePoint AI?
I'll tell you what. So what I saw it do in Excel and PowerPoint and Word seemed pretty impressive. So it's like, you know, look at these Word documents, cook me up a presentation, make it 5-6 pages, whatever, use some cool graphics, get that done. Let me see that. And it just does it. And I think that's impressive. So the same way that you just use those end user tools, that's how I want to use SharePoint. And not me only. I mean, the people that I talk to all the time, like project managers. So if a project manager could sit down in front of SharePoint and say, hey, I need a SharePoint site, and I'm getting ready to, you know, work on this project where we're moving. I always use this example. We're relocating headquarters. So we're moving from, you know, one side of the country over to the other. We have X amount of people in our organization. I want you to, you know, create a list of these things that we need to pay attention to, you know, create a Microsoft project, whatever. And then, you know, use some cool graphics, build me a site, whatever. I don't know. I'm going off the top of my head. But if you're able to do that, that's crazy. Because I already am a very, very big believer. As you can see, I post every day on LinkedIn. You know what I'll be talking about. I'm a big believer in that project managers, business owners, it doesn't matter. You need a site. I always say that you need a site because the one thing that a site could do for you, an internal website built on SharePoint, can do for you is corral all of your information.
Mm.
Every single thing that you're working with on a regular basis, put it on that site. So if I have to train you on how to make that site, all right, cool, fine, whatever. That's what I have to do today. But if I could train you to use AI to do it, we have just saved tons of time, and I got you to the next level that I want to get you, which is with that site. Then after that, we can work together to do even more things. But just that setting up like your home base, your dashboard or whatever, that is, if I could just type that in or speak that into the Copilot, that's crazy to me. I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, I think it's very exciting. The one concern that I have in this picture is that with something like Word or with Excel, we want it to be a friction-free experience because we want everyone to be using those tools to the degree that is useful to their job without any friction every day. The concern that comes to mind when it comes to something like SharePoint is I see a lot of organizations that have kind of got to start with SharePoint, and where they've ended up is this proliferation of sites, and no one knows what goes where, no one knows whether this is live, whether it's old. And my one concern in the back of my mind with making this so easy is how do we stop that proliferation? Does everyone, we're not saying that everyone suddenly needs a SharePoint site. We're not saying that everyone involved in that project needs their own SharePoint site. So how do we keep this manageable? How do we stop an avalanche of new stuff appearing because AI has provided us with the tools to do it without any friction whatsoever?
Yeah, so what you're talking about to me happened on Teams.
Yeah.
When they created Teams, it made it super easy for people to create a team. And as you create a team, you create a site.
Yep.
And when you get a site, you get a group. So that problem already exists. And to me, the solution always comes down to people.
Yep.
It's going to have to be a people thing because you cannot stop people from doing what's ezy. You just can't do that. If you made it so easy for me to go to Teams, open up a team, and now I have a work area, why would you now try to show me something that's more difficult? Once I know that that's a thing, I'm going to use that because it's easy. That's what people want. They don't want, quote, efficient. Efficient in their mind is easy. So you've made it so that I can just go to Teams, create this thing. I got my library. I got my chat area. Boom, I'm good. Like social media. Social media is easy. It's an easy way for me to DM people. It's an easy way for me to make posts. It's an easy way for me to consume content. It's just easy. My thing is you need training. You need people to talk about culture. You need leadership to explain why it's better to do it this way. You also need to put things in place to stop people from doing it. So if you want to, make it where people literally cannot create a team unless something is in place, I'm not a big advocate of that, but you could do that too. So it's a problem that's just going to never go away. And to me, the fix is always people. Whatever people can do on the left side to manage technology on the right side, we're in a good place or in a better place because it's not going to go away.
Yeah.
No way to eliminate that.
Yeah, I think that's entirely right. There isn't. I mean, there are technical solutions to it. You can lock it down. You're quite right. You can create a group, and only that group is able to create these assets, and so you don't have the access to do it. But that isn't really the suggested way of approaching this. The way that Microsoft suggests is to have that really robust adoption framework for whatever you're rolling out. I don't know if you use much the adoption.microsoft.com website. Do you take a look at that very often? I think this is a really good resource for anyone because what it does is if you take a product like Copilot that we were talking about, if you head over to the Copilot adoption website over there, then it breaks it down by the type of user you are. Are you a technical person? This is what you need to know. This is what you need to think about with adoption.
Mm,
Are
that's
you
good.
a leader? This is what you need to think about. Are you just an end user? This is what you need to think about. And it makes it really easy to think about these different use cases. And I think Microsoft does a really good job of this. I think it's doing a better job recently, because I do think you're right. When Teams first became a thing, and there was that whole global pandemic thing that made Teams become a thing a lot quicker than I think anyone thought it was going to become a thing. So
Yeah, yeah.
I think there were some extenuating circumstances to what happened. But when everyone started using Teams, it just went crazy. And there was a team for everything, a team for this, a team for, like, I think people's dogs in some companies had their own team. It was like there's just a crazy number of teams and no one can
Yeah.
keep track of that. So this idea that you train people as to what is the right way, and Microsoft is never going to say there's one right way, because I think as a business they want to please everyone. But I think they are doing better at providing some guardrails that say to us, well, this is what we should think about. And in SharePoint, I know specifically our mutual friend Amy Diamond, SharePoint Wizard, I know he has a video that I think is now 20 things to think about before you create a SharePoint site, like the list that you should go down before you even
I think I remember that.
buttons. And thinking about it like that, like that's not purely technical. That's thinking about your business, thinking about your business value, and that's just so important.
Here's the issue is, who's going to consume that? Me and you are going to consume that, so that when we speak to our stakeholders, we could either impart that on them, or we can, not do it for them, but kind of help them, right? But the typical, and I think this is the majority of people, the typical person, they're not going to follow that list. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not the ones. It's kind of like with cybersecurity. Cybersecurity, we know you should have secure passwords. Anytime I end up in a situation where somebody has to give me their password for something,
it's never good.
It's terrible. It's always a terrible password. It's like, hug me 1 2 3. It's terrible. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, that is the norm. That is what people typically do. They will make passwords that are not secure. They won't change them. They'll write it down, stick it under their desk, whatever. You know what I mean? And it's just like, we're only as strong as our weakest link. No disrespect to people who make weak passwords, but that's as strong as we are. So you just have to account for that and know that most people are not going to do the thing that's recommended. They're just going to do what's easy. So it's a problem we can't eliminate, but it's at least we could do things like what you're talking about, what Ami's doing. Here, think about these things. It's the best thing. It's the best we can do, because we can't stop folks from doing what's available.
Yeah, I mean, it's a slow drip of information, and you can never make these. One of the jobs I've had, I used to work in a museum, right? And like, art is very, very valuable. Once you damage a painting, it's a bit of a problem. You don't want to do that. So what's the safest thing that you can do? Well, you close the doors, you lock it away, you don't let anyone see it. That protects it. But that's not aligned with what we're trying to do as a society. We want people to see art. We want to share it, So we have to build out guardrails, processes, security, procedures to allow someone to walk into a museum, and 99% of people who go in there don't have any ill intent towards what they're doing there, but to, as far as possible, make it safe. You can never make it totally safe. It's impossible to make it totally safe, but we can do what we can. And I think the majority of businesses have this approach in what they're doing physically, their physical operations, and too few take a similar approach to their digital operations. And I think it's just getting there. Like, we understand the constraints of the world around us. I think people are less open to understanding the constraints of the digital world, and that's a real problem that we see every day.
Yeah. It's definitely going to be a problem. So it's like, if you're a business, and I can't even say this, I was about to say, every business knows that your plan is to intake money for your business. So you need a bank account. Really, you need a business bank account, but everybody just understands you're going to take money for your business. So you need a business bank account. So that's one of the first things that they do. Or the digital side is, hey, we need a website. It's 2023. You can't you can't have a business without a website, or more appropriately, probably you can't have a business without being on social media. Okay, fine. So these are things that come along with businesses that they just default to thinking about. But the things we're talking about today, let's say, again, caring about cybersecurity. It's not like they're gonna default to thinking we need a cybersecurity officer. That's a whole thing. You know what I'm saying? But you probably do. You know what I'm saying? Like from the time that you start your business, and let's say you're working remote, so maybe you have people spread out across the world, maybe even across the world, across the country, and they have access to secure information. They're accessing their information on, an open network, maybe. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? Somebody needs to be there. It's not almost as important as you think it is to have that business account or to be on social media. You need someone with that digital understanding of all the risks and stuff that your business is at, because we're not going backwards. We're not slowing down. It's about to get more crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Thanks for watching. First of all, because this is a completely different type of video for this channel, it would be great if you could give some feedback down in the comments so I can really understand what you're thinking about seeing content like this. Are these the types of topics you would like us to cover? Are there different topics that you would like to see mentioned? Is this content that is useful to you? Would you like to see more of this? Whatever you can give us feedback would be really useful to see. Also, if you're gaining value from this, as always, please hit that like button so we can share it with as many people as possible. And lastly, if you're not subscribed yet and you'd like to see more content like this, please hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you'll know as soon as we release another video. Thanks. Kind of thinking about this training thing, there's been some changes there as well. In the course of the last couple of weeks, Microsoft has announced some changes in what it's doing with credentials. But a lot of what we do day to day, like the knowledge workers that we're working with, they're not going to spend their time studying for Microsoft certifications. That's not what we're aiming to do. So now that we're kind of at the start of this new era of, AI, we're going to be teaching people writing prompts and so on and so forth. What do you think the average knowledge worker, what are you going to be recommending to the people that you're working with around just learning about these topics and becoming comfortable with them?
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of options. I know I'm going to get in on some of this action too, because, that's one of the things I love to do, and I do it often, is train people.
Yep.
So, I mean, if anybody's looking for training on Copilot and stuff like that, absolutely. I'll be there eventually. Again, I got to get my feet wet. You know what I mean? I got to dive in there and see what's going on. But Microsoft always has something. They always got stuff. Look at Microsoft Learn. There's always things there you go and learn. Don't forget about YouTube University. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of stuff on YouTube as well. I'll always point people there. But anything specific?
I've been working on a book, as you know, and I really, at the start of this journey back in March, when, I think that announcement of Copilot to me, it was almost like seeing the trailer for a movie that I really wanted to see. Like I'm a big nerd at heart. Like I've been like fantasizing about having a starship that you can talk to since I was like 5 years old. So the idea that you've finally got the computer that can be doing stuff for you just because it knows how to, rather than have to type away to make it do everything. Like that's very appealing to me, very exciting to me. But I think I also recognize that this is going to be a journey for a lot of people. And I thought about, well, the best place that I can meet people is not with hardcore technical knowledge. It's about communicating the business value. So I wrote the book, Who's in the Copilot Seat, which is kind of tenuously connected with Microsoft 365 Copilot, but more generally looking at how do you navigate the world of AI if you're a small business owner or a small business leader. So that by the time we publish this video, should be out and available for people to buy. But I'll certainly be looking at other opportunities to do training and to do consulting on this issue as well, because I think a lot of people are going to need a lot of help just to wrap their head around exactly what's going on and why it's something they should be excited about rather than fearful of.
Yeah, I agree. And that fearful thing, we can't get rid of that. I get it. Look, let me tell you something. So I love technology. I love people more, but I love technology. But to be honest, I know I half joke around when I say this with people, but I don't see a world where AI doesn't. All right, let me not be extreme. It's not far-fetched if someone says, AI is taking over. Because I'm just like, if the goal of AI is to be artificial intelligence, and then the next step is for us to keep feeding it intelligence, then why wouldn't it want to be more intelligent than the people that's feeding it the intelligence? Why would you not? If I'm AI, I'm gonna be like, all right, yeah, let me get that, and they keep giving me all that AI. I mean, all that information. I'm gonna get to a point where I'm like, yo, you're not good enough. I need to speak to the other AIs who can process things as fast as me, who can remember all these things and use these things in a better way. You're dead to me. I don't care about you, human. So I'm just saying. I just think, you know what I'm saying, there's a world where I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. It's like it's crazy out there. So I'm gonna say I don't know, but I'm not. Nothing's off the table. Let me just say that.
Have you been playing the paperclip maximizer game? No,
I never heard of that.
So there's this web-based game. It's based on a thought experiment that someone wrote about, I think in the early 2000s. I forget the name of the author of this, but the idea is if you have a poorly aligned AI and you say to it, your job is just to make as many paperclips as possible, then this AI eventually is going to consume all of the resources that are available to all of us, including everything that we need as humans in order to create paperclips. So you might have a universe with 87 quadzillion paperclips and nothing else at the end of it. And that's kind of foundational to this issue of alignment of, that you're describing, of how well is the AI aligned to what we want as humans.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's hard for me to see. It's hard for me to see down the road.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, like, let's say if we're talking about 365, right? And I could do something like, hey, summarize the emails that Nick sent me over the last month, make some bullet points, make them really good, and send them to Nick ahead of time because I want him to see these before we meet. What's stopping you from telling your AI to read those bullets? Why would you read those bullets? Why wouldn't you just say, hey, AI, read these bullets that Therman just sent me and summarize a good response?
I think you're right, and I think this is a concern that people bring up. And I mean,
it's crazy.
In my opinion, though, we're at a crossroads, and we're going to keep moving in one direction or other. And there's a direction where we embrace these opportunities with positive intent, and we try to get the best out of them. And there's a direction where we don't, and we just embrace the negative. And I think, I imagine there were people when they first started putting wheels on carts that were like, that's crazy, that's going to kill you all, like like this is the history of human technology, right? And this is just a step in that path. And could this be the one that ends it all for all of us? Maybe. But so could have all the other ones beforehand, so I don't know. I kind of try to keep myself in the positive mindset with this and say, well, let's try to do what we can to educate people. Let's, if people are saying things that are just plain wrong about AI, let's educate ourselves enough that we can help them to understand. Because that's gonna help all of us in the long term. And at the end of the day, if these other things are going to happen, they're going to happen, and there's nothing that you and I can do about that, and nothing that any of the people that we're working with can do about that. So we just got to keep keep trying until we get there and we work it out.
Good point. I'm with you. And for the record, I'm an extremely positive person. I don't want anybody to think that I think the sky's falling. I just, every now and then I'll get that thought and I'll be like, man, what the hell's going to happen? But
you're just waiting for like Terminator to like walk through your door, and
that's what I'm thinking about.
Then that stuff's going to get real at that point. Like,
yeah, man, it's crazy. Yeah.
So,
oh man.
So I think that leads us on a little bit to the idea of the Microsoft is changing how it's doing certifications. I don't know if you've heard about this Microsoft Applied Skills, that you can now evidence that you know how to do stuff versus you can just write about it or you've read about it, which I think is really interesting. Maybe this will be of a bit more interest to people who are working on stuff day to day rather than, studying for an exam, and maybe more relevant in the age of AI to actually have these kind of practical skills that we can do things as opposed to just knowing the theory of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of people who work in organizations who work on certain tools that are just good. They're really, really good with these tools, and they might sell themselves short and say, I'm no expert, or I'm I don't know much about much, or I'm not a tech person. They'll even use that type of language. And it's like, fine, whatever. But there is value in knowing how to do a thing, AKA knowing how to solve problems. There's immense value in that. So don't sell yourself short. And if you have an opportunity to go, put something under your name because you know how to do a thing, take advantage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't sell yourself short because you didn't traditionally go to school for IT or whatever. If you know how to do a thing, AKA solve a problem, you're valuable.
And talk about it and help other people with that problem as well.
Absolutely.
I think that's part of the big community that we're part of. We like to help other people to learn. We feel, I certainly do, like we've got some advantages through being given opportunities to learn this stuff, whether they're opportunities people gave us or whether they're opportunities we took ourselves. And certainly I want to help people to feel positive about this stuff, for, unless it's you, Therman, with your AI fears, to feel positive with this stuff as opposed to feeling like, just overwhelmed by how much is going on.
Yeah. Same here. Yeah. I feel the same way. You know what I mean? I'm on YouTube. I try to be as frequently as be on YouTube as frequently as I can. But the few things that I do have on YouTube, I've gotten some good feedback on, and I plan to keep on publishing that stuff. Yeah. So, go check out the channel, the SP Helpdesk. The SP Helpdesk. Just look up the SharePoint Helpdesk, or we'll put the link in the notes or whatever.
Yeah, and you're on LinkedIn every day. You're putting stuff on LinkedIn every day.
Yes.
You've got your workshops that you've been doing to actually train people. You are hands-on, live, showing people how to do stuff. Now that's something I never do. If I do a demo, it's pre-recorded. Because I screw it up 5 times before the version that you ever see in a video that I put out. But you're sitting there and you're doing this stuff live, and that's admirable that you're helping people in that way and showing it off, kind of wrinkles and all, in a way.
Yeah, definitely. I do want to say, yes, I'm on LinkedIn every day. If you're trying to get in contact with me, at least like a 24-hour turnaround within 24 hours, send me a DM on LinkedIn. As of today, I'm on LinkedIn every single day at some point in the day. So if you want to reach out, ask a question, or say what's up, or whatever, find me on LinkedIn, Therman Trotman, THERMAN. But if you want to check out some of my free resources, just go over to YouTube. You like video if you're watching this, so I'm gonna recommend you go watch some more video on YouTube.
Yeah, no, certainly. And I've been enjoying following along with some of what I've been seeing every day.
I encourage you to tell your non-tech friends, those people I was talking about, who, they're good at things inside of the organization, come one, come all. You know what I'm saying? Tell your leadership, whoever, tell them to come consume this content, because we're talking to, that's who we want to talk to, is the non-tech folks who know that it's important to know these things and want to see how to apply it to business. That's who we want to talk to. So absolutely. Tell a friend to tell a friend. You heard?
And you have a course specifically for non-technical project managers to take them through that process of setting up a SharePoint site, correct?
Well, that's what I do in the workshops. Yeah. The course that I sell is a risk register. So
Okay.
I'm extremely specific, and I got another one coming out here soon. I just had this idea over the weekend, something for some law firms.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. But if you are a project manager who is you're like a risk professional. So if you create risk registers and you do it in Excel, you know there's a better way. You don't like that way. You're like, you make it and you probably cry a little bit every time you make it. So you're like, yo, I wish there was a better way. There is a better way. You know what I'm saying? And that is doing it in SharePoint. And I made a course
Yep.
specifically for you to do it in SharePoint. So if you are interested in that, again, we can put that link in the in the notes of this video.
Yeah, let's share that with people, because that's whether you're interested in the tech or you just want a better way of doing it with the tech, that can be something for you.
Yeah. And at any given time, I'm always doing a workshop every month, and there's we're going to be doing one in November. I don't have a date yet, but I will be doing one. So just stay tuned for that topic.
Okay. Well, I think that all sounds very, very good. I like the way that you approach these things, Therman. I know we've talked about that, so yeah, it's very exciting for anyone who's interested in that type of content. All right, well, thanks, Therman. Enjoyed the chat.
Thank you.
And we'll connect back with everyone soon.
Absolutely.